Sorry, the internet connection because I'm in a new place. It's creating some trouble. I've shifted to another connection. Hopefully, it should work. Yeah. So, in the second class, we discussed about hearing from the ear of the heart. And when we went into more on, the namaprad, what exactly is an offense, we discussed quite. And then these, from the ear to the heart, there are the 16 layers, and how one should, penetrate these layers. We did this exercise. And then how Narad Muni penetrates into the chanting of the holy name. So we just did this. And that was the second talk. And that is Shuddhanam. And then to chant from the heart, we discussed this sutra. The heart is open, the mind is closed, and when the mind is open, the heart is closed. So this was our second talk which we had. In the third talk, we actually went into the Nama Tattva, that we have to only chant Shuddha Nam once. But when there are offenses, it is Namabhas. Less offenses, when there are more offenses, it is Namaprad. And what is the solution? Constant intensive chanting. And we saw the same quotation which Prabhupada is also mentioning. And then we went into actually the Harinam Chintamani Namaprad Pramad, because that is what we need to do now. So, what is Pramad? It was taught by Mahaprabhu to Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. And we saw that. And we did the japa exercise, how to avoid inattention by chanting one mantra in one beat. This was the exercise we did in the third talk. And in the fourth talk, we actually went into the definition of pramad and the three kinds of pramad. And we went into how by posture, especially the swastikasana, we can at least hear the mantra and penetrate the earth, water, and the fire layers. So that's what we had discussed in the fourth talk. And in the fifth talk, which was the last talk, that time we mentioned how Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that as long as one has not attained anurag, anurag refers to asakti, one should be very careful to chant the holy names with great attention, great care, great yatna. Yatna avadhan, yatna, yatna, grahan yatna kara, avashakta is there. And why this reason we mentioned. And then when we went into NY also, kintu adarat anudinam, and we saw Prabhupada's quotation also. Prabhupada says, with great care, carefulness, caution, so that one might not commit offense, understanding that Krishna is Nam. So this is what we saw. So today we are going to continue in our sixth talk, how to study the mind, because yatna, we have to do yatna so that we carefully chant, and how we should actually yatna bhave sadhagar chit sthir hoy na. The sadhak who is careless cannot study his mind. If you're not careful while chanting and you're careless, then you cannot study your mind. Just give me. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, the recording is working. Yeah. So, if we are not careful, then you cannot study the mind. So, this is a very, very important point. that if you're careless in your chanting, then you cannot study your mind. And now Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to give the remedies for this. Nisargata lokasabha vishaya asakt smriti kale vishaya antar anurakta. Everyone is naturally nisargata attracted to material sense. Vishaya asakta. When one remembers them, smriti kale, one becomes attracted to the sense objects. So, moment you contemplate, then those sense objects will be developed. Dhyayato Vishayan Sangas. Sanga Dhyayato Vishayan Sangat Sanjayate Kama. You develop attachment to that. The sense objects here are the sense objects that are not related to Krishna. So, what we should do is that we need to spiritualize the ahar of the senses. The eyes can see the deities, pictures, scriptures, holy places, dramas, festivals. The ears can hear the scriptures, spiritual songs, lectures, conversations. The nose, tulsi, flowers, sandalwood, fragrant items offered to the Lord. Tongue, kirtan and prasad. Touch, air of the holy places, the pure water, body of a Vaishnava, the soft bed offered to the Lord. Association of a chaste for propagation of God's central family. Times, Ekadasis and festival places, Vrindavan, Navdeep and Mayapur. So that's how we need to spiritualize the senses. Otherwise, these senses by nature, nisargata, they go towards the sense objects. रुचि आया अन्य स्थाने नामे उदासीन नामे चित्तमग्न nahi jape pratidina. If one is attracted to other things and is indifferent, so the pramad of audasinya is being dealt here. The pramad of audasinya is being dealt here. What will happen? That if one is Ruchi, yaya anyastane, his heart is attracted to other things, then he'll become indifferent to the holy name. Now, I want to do an exercise. Please on your video, because it's a very important exercise, because this has to be demonstrated. Let me see whether I can see everyone. Yes. Okay. We'll have to select someone who would volunteer. Let us see who would volunteer for this small exercise which we want to do. Who would volunteer? How many have raised their hands? Amar Jagannath Prabhu has raised his hand. You have to raise your hand in the Kabir Prabhuji has raised his hand. Okay, Amar Jagannath Prabhu is quite young. We'll take him. Not that because, the reason is it's mad. Amar Jagannath Prabhuji, are you able to hear me? Can you speak a little loudly? We are not able to hear you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am audible.
Now it is audible. Yeah. Amar Jagannath Prabhuji, where are you from?
I am from New Delhi, Prabhuji, connected from east of Kailas.
Oh, east of Kailash. Now you have to tell me sincerely and honestly which sweet item and which fried item you like. Tell me, honestly.
Sweet items, it's Prabhuji, this is kind of a peda. This
Uh-huh.
is totally made by milk and
Okay, milk peda. And what is the fried item like? It is kachori or samosa or one second.
samosa.
Samosa. Okay. So now you are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna, and somebody gets a hot samosa in front of you. And your chitta is naturally attracted to that. Okay, your chitta is naturally attracted to that. Will you maintain your indifference to the samosa?
No, Prabhuji.
Different? No, you will keep your bead bag, honor the samosa.
Yes, maybe.
Now try to understand the same example that when you're chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the chitta, there is natural attraction for sense objects. And we don't have attraction for Krishna. So we maintain a sort of internal indifference towards Krishna while chanting the holy name.
Yes.
This is what is called as audasinya. Because for many, many lifetimes, we are engaged in sense gratification. What is the definition? uh, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, what is that verse? Kaviraj Goswami says, ah, आत्मेंद्रिय प्रीति बोले तारा बोले काम कृष्णेंद्रिय प्रीति वांछा प्रेम धारे प्रेम नाम आत्मेंद्रिय प्रीति. Atmindriya Preeti means we have Preeti for enjoying the sense objects. Taraboli calm, it is calm. But Krishnendriya Preeti, Krishna in Ichha, satisfying Krishna is Prem. So the tendency to perform Prem is very less in the conditioned soul rather than to perform sense gratification, because we have been doing sense gratification for millions of lives. So while chanting also, in a subtle way, internally we maintain this indifference. We maintain this indifference. And I'm giving another example. Amar Jagannath Prabhu has another colleague friend. They're both very close, heart-to-heart friends. But for some reason, both the friends, for some issue, they have a fight. And externally, they are maintaining the relation, but internally, there is indifference. Internally. So although they are in talking terms, but internally there is a shield, shield of ego in that relationship because of some difference. So that is called as indifference. This is called as indifference. So this indifference we maintain. If one is attracted to other things and is indifferent to the holy name, even if such a person chants japa every day, jape pratidin, his heart will not be absorbed in the holy name. Why? चित्त एक दिके आर अन्य दिके नाम ताहार मंगल किशे है गुणधाम. So here, please try to carefully understand this now. This is the soul, and its pure consciousness is called as chitta. And okay, let me take another color. And this is the subtle body, which is called as the chitta, which has unlimited impressions of samskars. And this is the gross body. Okay. And actually, when there are no samskars, this pure soul is naturally attracted to Krishna. Oh, this is what I can draw best. Please forgive me. But these chitta, which has unlimited impressions, this is moving in all directions. Chitta ekadike. And you're taking the naam. But the naam is not going here. It is, it is interacting with the chitta here, the subtle body. And the chitta is moving in one direction. Chitta ekadike, nama ekadike. Or naam you can go in other direction also. So this is the situation. Chitta ekadike ara anya dike naam. Tahara mangala kishe hai gunadam. If these thoughts are in one direction, the holy name will be in another direction. How can a person attain auspiciousness? That is abode of all that is good. Lakshana mahela purna sankhya malagani hridaya nahila rasa binduguna mani. Even though he chants 1 lakh names of holy names on his beads, not a drop of taste for the precious jewel like the holy name will be produced in their hearts. If this is the situation, chitta ekadike, nama ekadike, not one drop they can experience. Ete avna एत एत अनवधान दोषर प्रकार विषय हृदय प्रभु बड़ा निर्वार. Oh Lord, this kind of inattention, which is called as audacity, is very difficult to stop the heart from being attracted to material sense objects. Vishaya hridaya prabhu bada durnirvar. Now some important reflections on this. In these texts, we are shown the negative aspects of chanting inevitably. So many lifetimes has the mind been engrossed in material activities, and in so many varieties of species has the mind been making plans for enjoyment. So how to stop this madness is the indication of this verse. Srila Bhakti Thakur is giving the answer to this verse. He states it is very difficult to restrain the heart of a materialist from such offenses. So the answer is become a spiritualist, become a Krishna Bhakta, man mana bhava mad bhakto. Krishna says, just become my devotee, worship me and offer homage to me. In this way, one is herein cautioned about material thoughts and guided by the use of the words to become a devotee and not a materialist. The mind of the materialist is naturally attached to material things, and the mind of a devotee is naturally attracted to Krishna. In this instance, faith is the key, and faith is nourished by sadhu sangha and attentive chanting in the association of devotees. So, this is the solution now. Chitta ekadike, nama ekadike. You sit in the association of sadhus, sit before the pictures of Radha and Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, your spiritual master, in front of Tulsi and chant. Please do not think that you can come to the spiritual moment or take up residence in the holy names such as Mayapur and Vrindavan and bring with you all your material conceptions of life. This will simply not do. You will be known as a Dharamdaji or one who is hypocritically devout, one who simply lives on the surface of the Dham but never enters into it. Why? Because the Dham is Chintamani. It is 100% spiritual and without a tinge of material contamination. Chintamani means to fulfill one's spiritual desires, not material. So now I am giving a sutra how to counteract this chitta ekadike, nama ekadike. And the sutra is when you chant, what you should do when you're chanting, you should complete the sentence. When you chant, what? What should be the next word there? Rohan Prabhuji. Yes, Rohan Prabhuji.
When you chant, you chant.
Oh, when you chant, you should chant. Very good. So this chitta will go in other directions. So you have to take a resolve that I'm going to chant, I'm going to keep all the distractions away. Sit in front of Radha and Krishna, sit in front of the Tulsi. So if you don't make this resolve, then Lakshanam Lebe, nothing is going to happen. So this is a very, very important sutra. The most foundational principle for good japa, the Paribhasha Sutra of japa, is to turn off your life when you chant and do nothing else but chant. Chanting is the worship of Radha and Krishna, and therefore we must be fully present to their world when we chant. We should be in their world, not in our world or our home or our office or anything. The more we are able to be present in our japa, the better our chanting will be. Inattentive chanting results from not honoring japa as a sacred relation which deserves our full attention and participation. It's a sacred relationship we have with Radha and Krishna. And just like a mother has a very intimate, loving relationship with the child, she has to put her, when she has love, actually, love means, please try to understand this statement. Love means it, it completely absorbs your consciousness in the object of that remembrance of your love. It completely, the whole consciousness is taken. So there is no room for any other thing, the consciousness for to go in other directions. That is love, for the object of love. So the mother has love, she puts her 100% heart and attention on the child. Not that she's, you know, uh, I once saw in the train, I have to tell this, that a mother was breastfeeding the child and she's looking in the mobile. Such an intimate, loving exchange, but so much absorption today in the devices. So, when you chant, you have to chant. You have to put your full attention and participation, and thus not making a sankalpa before chanting to be fully present in the holy name. Without making the sankalpa, if you fight a losing battle with one and often end up doing courtesy japa. By making the sankalpa, the mind quiets down. So this is a solution to become free from audacity. That when I chant, I chant. No other thing. I am only present in my relationship with Radha and Krishna and not anything else. So now, having made this point that without yatna abhava, one cannot carefully control the mind. So what is the vidhi? Yatna karibar vidhi. What is the rules of being careful? He speaks about it. So now he says, Sadhu Sangha Salpakala Chadiya Vishay Nirjane Loyla Nama Eidoshishay. By associating with devotees, when one quickly becomes free from material desires, once the thought of material desire is destroyed, One may then chant the holy name in a secluded place. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a footnote. At first, one may act in this way half an hour, beginning is chanting of the holy name in a secluded place in the association of devotees. Seeing the devotee's saintly nature, one gradually acts as they do. In this way, one abandons his indifference and desires to engage in devotional service. So, seeing the sadhus, the desire to emulate the sadhus will come, how they are practicing their sadhana, a desire will come, and with that desire, we can, chitta will not go in other directions, and we can be present in a relationship with the holy name. Krame krame Krishna nama chitta hoyastir nirantara nama rasa hoyate adhira. Gradually, the mind becomes fixed in the holy name. Then one is always intoxicated by tasting the nectar of the holy name. Tulsi rasan nikate Krishna lilastane sadhu sannidhane bhasi satvata vidhane. So now he is giving many remedies. Staying near Tulsi Devi. This is first one. So how to become free from that dosha of audasina, inattention, staying in a holy place of Lord Krishna's pastimes, associating with saintly devotees, and following the examples of great saints. So this is what we need to do. Following the example of great saints means example of past saints wrapped in the bliss of devotional service, bhajananda. In the beginning, one chants the holy name for half an hour. Gradually, the chanting is increased to an hour. Then gradually, the chanting is increased to 2 hours. And gradually, the chanting is increased to 64 rounds and gradually to 192 rounds. So don't worry about, this last point. At least start with half an hour, 1 hour, and 2 hours. To do half an hour, it will take many years of practice. And to 1 hour focus chanting, it will also take many years. And 2 hours will take many years. And then when your story attain Namabas, then we can think of all these figures. Krame kale vriddhi kare sei nam smare ati shigra vishayara chanda hoite tare. One gradually spends more and more time thinking of the holy name. Very soon one abandons thinking of material sense objects. So this is regarding the remedy, and let's see now some of the important reflections on this. The discipline of the previous saintly devotees is that they chant attentively for long periods of time. This should be emulated by sincere students. Now, as Kali Yuga is progressing, and especially because of devices, our attention span is reducing. We are all having that observation. Prabhupada in the Western countries is to never give a class more than 35 minutes or 40 minutes. You hear his Bhagavad Gita classes. They are not more than 40 minutes. That was in 1965. Now, today, same effect Indians are also facing. That we cannot sit attentively for half an hour. And that is why we have to create environment where we can sit and study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam for hours together. And if you cannot do that hearing for hours together, then you cannot chant, frankly speaking. You just cannot chant. So please mark this. As Kali Yuga is progressing, we should, in order to counteract this tendency, spend more and more hours. And I was recently speaking to a very exalted sannyasi. He said that for 12 hours, you should be completely cut off from your mobile in a day. Minimum. Maximum 15 hours. So he said that night 9 o'clock, he switches off his mobile. Until morning 9 o'clock, he doesn't open his device. He's a sannyasi. He's a leader, preaching and has great responsibilities. So the other devotees also know that Maharaj, we can contact only after 9 a.m. And no using the device when you are hearing Bhagavatam and you're chanting. Because if you're chanting, you will become careless. And then that will lead to this deep-rooted desires of Audasinya. And if you cannot work on Audasinya, then there is no chance. Absolutely no chance, I'll tell you. Absolutely no chance. Especially in this age where the smartphone which has come now, and nowadays, my observation is wherever I'm traveling and, in my morning sadhana, I make sure that I don't get the device. After my chanting is over and then I come for the class, that time I have to on the device just to uh, get the settings done. Then I keep it away. I've observed that with one hand they are moving the beads and with other hand they are typing the message, both at the same rate. This is what is going on. My goodness, it was so shocking for me. And then not one. When my last 2 weeks visit in a holy place, I saw every day this incident, every day. So, how you're carefully chanting that Krishna's name is there, Krishna is present, but you're, at the same time using a device. Did not fit in my logic. What is this happening? So, that's why you have to sit, and chant attentively for long periods. Then for long periods, you should get accustomed to hearing and long periods sitting and reading without any devices in and around. One can begin chanting for 1 hour, increase as the taste increases. After all, how can one learn to love the lover if one does not know him or does not wish to spend time with him? This is not possible. Now, I'll have to take some exercise again just to make the point very clear. Let me select who is here. Anand Prabhuji, I hope you're in one place, right? Can you on your mic? Yes. You're able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm in one place, a quiet place, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. So my question is this statement, I'm just doing some exercise. After
Yes,
all,
Prabhuji.
how can one learn to love the lover if he does not know him or does not wish to spend time with him? That is not possible. So based on this, we are doing one exercise. Anand Prabhuji, tell me who is your heart-to-heart friend whom you
Prabhuji,
like?
in this case, if I talk about human beings, it is my wife. She's a very good friend of mine, Prabhuji.
Apart from your wife, I had to clarify that, but apart from your wife, you can tell.
So I have my school friend, Prabhuji, who stays in
Okay,
Calcutta.
okay. Okay, good, good. Now, hold on now here. So Anand has a very good friend of classmate from Calcutta, and they have been having, conversations over the phone and discussions and long time, and they have not met. And suddenly one day the bell rings of the house, and Anand opens and it's shocking. His schoolmate has come. Suddenly, oh, it's so surprising, and he hugs him and tells, "Come, come and sit." And they sit. And then they are having nice conversation, heart to heart conversations, and suddenly Anand takes the remote and ons the TV. And after some time, the discussion is happening, and he takes his mobile and he's talking with someone. How will your friend feel? Anand Prabhu.
He will feel insulted, Prabhuji.
Now tell me how Krishna feels when you are with your japa and you attend to something else. How Krishna feels?
Very hurt.
Yes, Krishna feels very hurt. Krishna has been endeavoring to connect to us. We have been negligent. Krishna has not broken his connection from his side. Who has broken the connection?
I
We
have
have
broken.
broken the connection. Krishna is putting his, when we are chanting inattentively, Krishna's attention is 100%. And Krishna is waiting when he will chant 100% attentively. And when you chant 100% attentively, then you're successful and you have union with Krishna and you go back to the spiritual world. Till then, you have to make wait Krishna. And Krishna is Vishwatma. His mind is universal mind and he can put his attention 100% on each individual because he's Vishwatma. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like he can chant, he can dance with each of the gopis by personally expanding himself. So this is Krishna. So if, yesterday somebody asked me a question, Prabhuji, my chanting is taking 2 hours. Can I chant more faster so that I can reduce the time? I said, with your lover, you want to decide how much time you're going to spend? When you're going to spend in eternity in the spiritual world, you're shocked. So this is the point. So we have to increase the chanting of the rounds. To achieve the goal of Krishna, one may begin to chant a minimum 1 hour per day, and then he has to increase to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, all this is big figures, but at least 2 hours. And then on Ekadasis, try to increase. And on the holy, and as over a period of time, when one develops Ruchi, one should increase. This is recommended by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in order to sever all ties with material life. As long as you don't increase the rounds, you cannot cut off material connections. Love for Krishna will not come about as long as was associates with the self, the body. The actual true self is Krishna, a tiny separated parts of Krishna. The actual true self is the soul, which is also part of Krishna. Just take a minute and think how important is that japa period. It is the time when you stop all activities of selfishness and focus on pleasing the Lord. Every activity concerning the self, rather the false self, should be stopped during japa. The japa becomes a selfless service. The mind, which is the center of all senses, should be withdrawn from sense objects and the consciousness should be taken inwards. In this way, the inner realities will increase their intensity and reality. At first, when one is on the offensive platform, progress is very slow, if at all. Please mark this. Banu Maharaj, in his Harinam Chintamani seminar, says, Namapraj chanting, you make no progress, he says. But with determined effort and blessings of Vaishnavas, the offensive inattentive platform can be overcome and one can reach the platform of the shadow name chanted with faith. Chaya Shraddha Nama. Shadow means Chaya, faith means Shraddha Nama Bas. Now I'm just mentioning this Chaya Shraddha Nama Bas. I'm not going to deal with it in detail because that's a vast topic. So we know that there are 3 stages of chanting, Nama Bhas and Shuddha Nama. But within Namabhas, there are 2 divisions, Shraddha Namabhas and Ashraddha Namabhas. And within Ashraddha Namabhas, there is Sanketa, Parihasya, Stob and Hela. So what Ajamil chanted is, he did not have faith that I am chanting the name of Narayan and Vaikuntha. He chanted his son's name. So that is Sanket, indicating something else. So his was Ashraddha Namabhas. And by Ashraddha Namabhas, he destroyed all the sins and he was liberated. Can you imagine? This is the potency of the holy name. So, what this statement is meaning that one should chant Namaprad, from Namaprad come to Chaya Shraddha Namabhas. He should come to Shraddha Namabhas. Within Shraddha, there is Chaya. Now, Chaya is like the shadow. I'm just giving a little glimpse of the concept of Chaya. Now, here is a person, and the sun is here out, and his shadow is seen here again. And this shadow is connected to him, right? Because the end of his feet, the shadow begins. So there is a connection. So that is Chaya. But whereas Pratibimba means the sun is here and there is water here and the sun's rays are reflecting and there is shining and there is a wall here. And here also there is reflection on the wall. One is the image is distorted, whereas this image is very similar to the image of this original person. This is Chaya. That's why called as shadow. But this is called as Pratibimba, reflection. It's a reflection. So this reflection chanting we should not do. This is actually one who has a distorted understanding of the philosophy, especially the Mayavadis. They chant this, they take the name, but they have distorted understanding of the truth of the Lord. So this is Pratibimba, the reflection falling on the wall. So one progresses from Namaprad to Chaya Shraddha Namabhas and Shuddhanam. So Namaprad, if you don't cross, then you cannot come to Namabhas. And that's why we have to come to Chaya Shraddha Namabhas. Prabhupada gave the example that at first chanting is a forced thing. I should shout Hare Krishna and you should listen. We should listen. That's why if we chant loud, we must hear something of the name. So in this way, the beginnings are not pure and smooth, but due to the mercy of Sri Nam Prabhu, all anarthas will be overcome simply by concerted, determined effort. Later on, however, bhajan becomes internal, and although remembrance is at first a process that is help from outside stimulus, while listening to the stories of Krishna pastimes in the Bhagavatam, in time the Lord's pastimes manifest according to our own desire. So we could be anywhere, and the Lord may forcibly carry our heart and mind, causing us to jump like a madman with a being elated within. And Mukundatta was a physician. The king called him because he was sick. And Mukundatta came and he saw that the king was fanned by the peacock feather. And he just remembered Krishna's wearing the peacock feather and he went into ecstasy. So this is what happens when one chanting becomes internal. He doesn't need any external stimulus. Internally, just seeing anything, he'll remember Krishna. This pastime indicates how one can be in any position and one may remember the Lord simply by seeing something that one connects with the Lord. However, this state does not come without prior connection with the Lord's holy name and pastimes for extended periods of time. So this internal spurti, just seeing anything, one will remember Krishna will not happen as long as one has not chanted for long periods. At the stage of Chaya Shradhamas, the anarthas begin to be removed. Now, please remember, only when you come to the Chaya Shraddha Namabhas, anarthas start getting destroyed. In Namaprad, anarthas increase sometimes if you're inattentive. But the false ego is strong and will not let go of the dominion so easily. Therefore, as the anarthas from previous lives are shown to you by the mercy of Sri Nam Prabhu, if you follow the dictations of false ego, they will again attract your consciousness and try to exert dominion over you. When this happens, you must seek shelter of the Lord's devotees, who are the protectors on the road of bhakti, and not fall prey to the dictations of past anarthas. Now, I'll draw and explain this, what exactly is being stated, because this is a little philosophical. Basically, what is happening is that this is what is called as the antakarana. And this is the mind, this is the intelligence, this is the false ego. And all the impressions of all the vasanas are here in the chitta. This is also called as the chitta also. Now, the eyes are the Gyanindriyas, the eye, and it sees a form, and or it sees a gulab jamun, Now you have, the input goes to the mind and the mind scans here. Oh, I have previously tasted gulab jamun. It is very nice. The intelligence says, yes, yes, it is nice. False ego says, I wanted to have it. And then, it dictates the intelligence, make planning, scheming, and then mind dictates the hands and the legs. And the hands go to the gulab jamun and eat the gulab jamun. And the mind enjoys it. And the false ego smiles. So this is how the antakaran is there. And when you start chanting, what is happening is, especially the Chaya Shradhanamas, all these get start, Cheto Darpan Marjanam starts happening. This starts becoming pure. Now the false ego, which has been, deep rooted in sense enjoyment, it will oppose. It will oppose. It will oppose. It will start exerting its influence. So this is what happens. And that's why we should not fall dictations to the past anarthas. If you resist their pull and do not engage in illicit activity of any kind, including offending others, you will succeed in uprooting unwanted desires from the heart. At the same time, as this, you will also become immune to the attacks of unseen forces by the strength of your bhajan given by the mercy of Nam Prabhu. As you meditate on the holy name, because you have stopped all external sensory activity, the mind will try its best to draw your attention away. Thus, when performing japa, your inner realities will try to overpower you and form an illusionary reality of the past events combined with the future speculation. So this is how the mind works. The mind, either it will go into the past impressions or the future speculations. So one should, chant, that's why in the mode of goodness. Within the mind driven by false ego, you cannot think in terms of the present, as the present is current only in the external world and perceived through the agency of the bodily senses. Therefore, your mind will continuously drag you between past events and future speculations combined, completely fabricating events that have no reality whatsoever. For success, this must be exerted. Krishna says, whenever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, you should bring it back to the self. So this is the sutra you have to follow. Yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam astiram tatastata niyametad atmaniva vashamne. This is very important instruction forming the part of Abhideya, as the mind will try every trick to take your attention away from Sri Krishna. And actually the false ego is doing this. The false ego is sending the mind. Don't allow him. Focus your attention on sense objects and not on the holy name. The present moment is alive in Krishna Nam, and when one accesses the real ego, one identifies oneself as the eternal servant of the Lord. To achieve this position, we have been given a technique from Srila Prabhupada. He says we should listen to the name and all the Krishna pastimes will be revealed. So first you have to hear the mantra. Hear, that's it. Many say, I get some dreams about Krishna, I get Krishna's vision. Don't worry about all that. Just hear the mantra. This is a very important instruction, but we should also remember one important thing, that listening is an art and it takes training to perfect. The idea behind listening to the mantra is that the mind is given a point of reference to follow, like someone shining a torch in the dark cave to light up the path. You must follow the path of the torch illuminates for you. The word mantra means to deliver the mind. The holy name is at once both the path and the goal at the end of the path. However, if you go off track and follow the pictures of speculations created within the mind, you will be lost forever in the world of illusion, and you will also be committing namaprad, as you will not be following the name as the Lord desires. Remember, Harinam is the path to deliver the mind. The Lord has given his name as the most powerful mantra, and this mantra will deliver the mind if one sincerely follows it, abandoning every other type of religion, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. If one really wants to remain in the present moment, one must enter into the timeless activities of the Lord's pastimes in the Vrindavan by chanting his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I will bring out the sutras in the next class. Or we'll take up one sutra, because the first sutra was given, solution remedy was given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is, yeah, he had given the first, this is the problem we have. And the solution he had given, Sadhu Sangha Kala Chadiya Vishay Nirjanalay Namadesh and Tulsi Sannikate. Okay, so let me take Tulsi Sannikate. This is one of the most important sutras everyone should follow. And those who are grahasthas are more fortunate, because every day they can follow this. Brahmacharis also, those who are staying in the temple, can do it. But it is easy for the grahasthas to do it, because they can have the tulsi, keep the tulsi in front, near the altar, and chant in front of Tulsi Devi. Chant in front of Tulsi Devi. So I'm just bringing out this point about the sacred space of Tulsi. No, not sacred space, just directly Tulsi I'm going to bring. Chanting in front of Tulsi. So Haridas Das Thakur constructed a cottage in a solitary place. Nirjana Vana Kutira Kariya Tulsi Sevan. There he planted a Tulsi, and in front of Tulsi he would chant the holy name of the Lord 3 lakhs. Ratra Dinne 3 lakhs Naam na. He chanted throughout the entire day and night. Now Prabhupada says what? See, from his personal example, we can understand that the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and becoming highly elevated in Krishna is very simple. Prabhupada says, without difficulty, one can sit down anywhere, especially on the bank of Ganges, Yamuna, or any other sacred river, devise a sitting place or a cottage, plant a tulsi tree, and before the tulsi, chant the Hare Krishna mantra undisturbed. So, what are the 4 things we should do? What Prabhupada is recommending, the 4 things we should do to chant? Who will answer? Raise your hands. What are the 4 things we should do? What are the 4 things we need to do? What are the 4 things? Anyone? Gita Upasana Mataji. Yes.
I don't remember the 4
You have to
things.
speak a little loudly, please.
I can tell 3 things that I could
Yeah,
correct.
you can tell. Okay.
One is sit in front of Tulsi Maharani and chant. Second is hear the mantra. And third is put a picture of your favorite deity in front of you that I could.
No, I want what Prabhupada is saying in this purport. I want to know how many of you attentively heard. I just spoke 1 minute back. 4 things Prabhupada is saying there in the purport. Those I want to know. Yes, Kabir Prabhuji, yes.
Sit in a separate place or
Yes.
cottage or Ganges, plant Tulsi and start chanting in front of Tulsi Maharani.
Okay, very good. First, what Prabhupada is saying that one should sit in a sacred place like the Ganga or the Yamuna or any sacred place. So for us, where the altar is, or where our japa room is, where we have kept the pictures. Second, devise a sitting place. That means you should have your own asana. You should have your own asana where you sit. And that asana you sit only to do your japa and not anything else. Third, have Tulsi and sit in front of Tulsi and chant. If you start doing these 4 things, you will see amazing results. Sacreds, sit in a sacred space, devise a sitting place, asana or a cottage, plant Tulsi, and before Tulsi, chant. Haridas Thakur is to chant 3 lakhs, entire day and night, the 16 names of the Hare Krishna mantra. So all the 16 names you chant. Then, but Prabhupada says one cannot imitate. That such chanting is for a liberated person. But we can follow his example by chanting 16 rounds every day and offering respect to Tulsi. It is not at all difficult for anyone, and the process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra with the vow before Tulsi plant has great spiritual potency that simply by doing this, one can become spiritually strong. So here Prabhupada is saying that one should take a vow that one will chant before Tulsi plant. One should take a vow that I will chant before Tulsi plant. Interestingly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his South India travel, he was chanting mantra on the beat, Santya Purvak, but he was telling his servant to carry the Tulsi plant. So his servant was in the front carrying the Tulsi plant, and backside, Mahaprabhu seeing the Tulsi plant was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So why can't we in our homes have the Tulsi plant and in front of Tulsi plant do this? Now, what great spiritual potency is there in chanting in front of Tulsi plant? What is the great spiritual potency? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. What is the great spiritual potency there by chanting in front of Tulsi? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. What is that great spiritual potency? Anyone knows? What is the great spiritual? Ras Viharini Radha Mataji has attended the Japa workshop, so she's quite aware, but still we'll hear from her. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Actually, by her blessing, we can hear attentively.
By Tulsi Maharani's blessing, because she's 100% surrendered, by her mercy, we can hear the mantra. And if we hear the mantra, that's a perfection. Just like a chaste wife who is 100% surrendered to the husband, every word of the husband she'll attentively hear. Similarly, Tulsi Mana is surrendered devotee of the Lord. And by her mercy, sitting in front of Tulsi, if we chant, we can hear the mantra. Therefore, we request the members of the Hare Krishna movement to follow Haridas Thakur's rigid example. Chanting 16 does not take much time, nor offering respects to Tulsi plant difficult. This process has immense spiritual potency. Twice Prabhupada is mentioning. One should not miss this opportunity. So what is the sutra you are going to learn? What you have learned today? Raise your hands. Let us see. What is the takeaway point from today? Who will answer? Meenakshi Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Today I learned that I have to chant in front of Tulsi Maharani.
Can you
And
speak a little loudly, please, clearly?
Okay. So my takeaway is from tomorrow onwards, I have to chant in front of Tulsi Maharani, and I should have a separate asan.
Yes. Prabhupada is saying one should never miss an opportunity to not chant before Tulsi. Make this point. Yesterday I was in our temple in Delhi, and the Brahmachari ashram is there, and then there is a garden there in the Brahmachari ashram only, where there are pots, and there is ropes for drying the clothes. So I went in that area because Tulsi is there, and I sat before Tulsi and chanted. And today we had visited Lakshmi Narasimha temple, and a lot of devotees were chatting there inside the temple. So we went outside, and in the veranda there was one Tulsi plant planted there. So we sat in front of that Tulsi and chanted. So one should never miss an opportunity not to chant before Tulsi Maharani. And 4 things we need to do. Sit in a sacred space, sacred place, Ganga, Yamuna, or your home, because that's also temple. Devise a sitting place, or you make a bhajan kutir in your home, and you can make actually. Third, you should plant the tulsi, and in front of tulsi you have to chant. So this is the most important thing we should do. Okay, so I'll end here. Nirantara Namaloy, he used to take 24 hours this name. And Tulsi Sevan Kare, Charvan Upas, Indriya Daman Hola, Premera Prakash. She worshipped Tulsi, this, the prostitute, and eating frugally, fasting, she conquered her senses, and her senses were controlled. Symptoms of love of God appeared. So this is what, is the potency of chanting in front of Tulsi. So I'll stop here and open the room for questions. Any questions you have about this point, this theme which we discussed? How to carefully, yatna vidhi, how to carefully control the mind, and what are the remedies for that? Of course, among many, Sadhu Sangha, Sannikate, and Hari Lila Sthane, Tulsi Sannikate, we have seen today Tulsi Sannikate. We'll see the others also in the coming classes. Yes, Kabir Prabhuji, you have a question.
Prabhuji, asana means even small mat also okay, Prabhuji, or any other specific Prabhuji?
Asana means an asana where you only use it for sitting. It is the dhyan asana. Japa is the japa dhyan. So you should have your own asana, and that asana should be wide in width, in length, and in width, where when you sit completely, it should, your leg should not go out on the ground and touch the ground, because then, the energy will get drained. So at least I recommend 2 feet by 3 feet. That is the size. And this asana, you should fold and keep it with you yourself. And whenever you are doing japa, you should use that asana only. Okay. In the Gita also, Krishna recommends that.
When there's a small, the mat also good number, or we have to create a foldable mat, I think.
If you're having a mat, that kusha mat, that is also okay. But then you have to use that only, kusha mat.
Kusha mat only.
And you don't use it for any other purpose.
Only for meditation or reading Bhagavad Gita, only I use it.
Yes.
If it is in smaller in size, okay, we have to make it little bigger one.
Yes.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Rohan Prabhuji has a question. Yes, Rohan Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, like when you talked about this 4 steps, right? Like planting tulsi plant, and then
No.
uh,
First step
the
is
first step is
sacred, holy
yeah.
place. Make a sitting device or a kutir. Third is plant tulsi, and in front of tulsi you have to chant.
Yeah, so this doesn't come under Ekant Bhajan, right? Like this is like just wanted
No.
to
How can you
yeah.
come in Ekant Bhajan? In the temple also, you're from Belgaum. In the temple, there are two places where we keep the tulsi and all the devotees sit around, na?
Yeah, that is in the temple, Prabhuji. So, but here when we are saying we have to go near a Yamuna
No,
or
that's what I mentioned. The sacred space is the space where now you are situated,
oh,
your home.
okay.
Within the home, you have to create a separate space where you only do chanting or you're doing the worship of the deities. So that space, in that space, you have to chant.
Okay.
I'll come more to the sacred space in the next class also. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions anyone else has? Okay, so we'll stop here. And to summarize, in this session, we saw if one is careless, then he cannot study the mind. And the reason is because chitta ekadike, nama ekadike. And even if he chants 64 rounds, he'll not taste a drop of the nectar of the holy name. And what is the yatna karibara vidhi? What is this? That one should, chant in the association of sadhus, in front of Tulsi, in holy places. And seeing the conduct of the sadhus, one should absorb one's chanting for half an hour and gradually increase. And in that context, we saw the Japa Sutra when we chant, and the Japa Sutra chanting in front of Tulsi. And one should never miss such an opportunity. Abhay Gaur Chandra Prabhuji, yes, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
I was resting the DPs, that's why I could not on my video. Sorry, Prabhuji. I
Can you
was
speak a
listening.
little clearly and loudly?
Now it is okay, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Like I was resting the DT, that's why I could not on my video. Sorry, Prabhuji. I was listening. As Prabhuji, you said I have some want to like you were telling about that devotee while chanting. It took him 2 hours like that, and I was also thinking my chanting. I was counting for myself. I kept the stopwatch and I was doing, and I was completely aware and with focus. I was chanting, but it took me sometime 9 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes it took me 11 minutes. I am sure that I did not sleep or I was full 100% awake, and I was a little worried that it took me 2 hour 30 minutes. So is it okay, Prabhuji? My
First of
question
all, I
first.
mentioned, have you decided that, Krishna, Radha and Krishna, I'm going to spend 2 hours with you. That's it. So that's the only time I have. Rest of the time, I want to do my other activities.
No, Prabhuji.
Then,
I
first of all,
decided
when
to.
you keep a timer, you're time conscious, not Krishna conscious. Actually, if you have actually chanted your rounds, your 16 rounds attentively, you would feel that, just 5 minutes have passed away. Because that is the absorption of your consciousness. But that doesn't happen to us because we are conditioned by the modes. Modes means past, present, and future. That means you are conditioned by time, kala. So don't be conscious of time. Be conscious of Krishna while chanting. That's important. Okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji. And you said about regarding the use of this mobile. So, Prabhuji, like sometimes we try to do multiple things at the time. Like
If you are
sometimes.
doing multiple things, then be sure that we'll be never able to regulate the mind because the mind can only do one task at a time. And the more you do multitasking, the more you feel that you have control over yourself. And this is a trick of Maya. This is a trick of Maya. And your control will expand And that means you go lowers in the modes, you'll not come to sattva. Sattva means one activity at a time. This multitasking gives you a sense of controllership, rajaguna. And you get some kind of rasa in it.
Yes.
Yes, I know that. So then make 100% sure that the same conditioning you will apply while chanting Krishna. While chanting Krishna's name, you will also do multitasking other things. Then you're missing the opportunity, the greatest opportunity of connecting to Krishna and going back to Godhead. Just for, some silly thing to do multitasking, you're ready to give up Krishna. What a pathetic situation.
Mm.
Hare
So
Krishna.
Prabhuji, like,
Hare Krishna.
okay,
It's
Prabhuji,
enough.
like
You
every
need
time
not,
we
you
are
need
not.
not discuss, you need not discuss anything more about this, I feel now.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any other questions anyone else has? Okay. श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. हरे कृष्णा. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा.